All right, so what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Al from Lumnah Acres, Ben from Hollar Homestead, and myself, Jason from Sow the Lands, episode 46. And did you guys have dinner already?
Did.
Yeah, we did.
What'd you guys have?
Chicken bacon pasta.
Chicken bacon pasta.
What about
We
you?
had a pork roast and baked potatoes. What about you, Jason? Did you
We
eat
had some nachos.
nachos? Beefy boy nachos?
They're beefy boy nachos.
Nice.
Yeah, ground beef, cheese, and chips and some greens on that. We don't have that actually too often at all.
No.
No, I think there were some beans in there. But they're good.
That's where it's at. Nachos got to have beans. Like, I don't know why. Like, I really like refried beans or like
Yes.
black beans on my nachos.
Yeah.
I like refried beans on the nachos.
Yeah, I'm not a huge nacho fan, but like homemade like that, they're really good. Like I don't typically, even growing up, like going to a baseball game or something like that, you see everyone buying nachos, it's like, man, I just can't get into that fake cheese.
Right.
It's more plastic than cheese.
I know, I just never could get into it.
Man, that used to be like, that was my snack back when I
Really?
was working. Like, it would be like, 2 or 3 in the morning. I would have been up for a long time, and the only thing open was the gas station down the street. And so I'd be starving. I'd go to the store, and it was like I could pick up a bag of chips and one of those cans of, they call it cheese, but it's,
Yeah.
it's more plastic than cheese. Open that thing, I could get the jalapeno flavored. I think that they were like, the brand was by Frito or something like that. And I'd sit there and I'd eat a whole bag of chips and a whole can of cheese for my late night, early morning snack. No wonder I always had heartburn. That stuff wasn't food.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they used to have nacho flavored it was Taco Bell flavored Doritos back when I was in high school. I remember
Nice.
getting those.
Oh yeah.
But I was definitely a junk food junkie back in the day.
Yeah, I think we all were. A standard American diet.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. So what's up? What's up, guys? What you been up to?
I kind of got a sunburn finally. Not a huge one, but
Oh, look at
trying to
that.
get a farmer's tan.
Nice.
So you finally warmed up a little bit?
Yeah, it's been warming up on and off, getting some sun, which is nice. Did you guys hear about you must have saw the crazy tornadoes that came through? I think it would have been last week. It was like
Oh yeah,
Nebraska and Oklahoma.
it's been crazy. Like basically from the Rockies east, just tornado after tornado. I've seen so many videos of those. Like one was like a warehouse, and it was like from a dash cam of a car in the parking lot, and all of a sudden there's no more warehouse. Like incredible videos. Like I think that has always been like a fear of mine is tornadoes, and I don't know. It all started with Twister. Like I watched Twister
was just
back in
gonna
the day,
say,
and
We grew
Yeah.
up with Twister.
Yep.
and
The
I just
tornado
always had
cases.
this like phobia.
That's what I tell myself when it's like negative 20 degrees up here and we're buried in snow. I'm like, we live in an area where there's no tornadoes,
Yeah.
not really hurricanes, there's no poisonous snakes. Like we can deal with the cold and the snow.
We had to Google that before we moved out here.
Did you?
Does
Yep.
North Carolina get tornadoes?
They
you
do, but
guys have,
not very often.
Yeah.
Did you guys have like Scorpios and stuff like that in Southern California where you guys lived?
Scorpions?
Oh,
Yeah.
heck yes.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Rattlesnakes?
We had, actually, there was one out there. Nobody's ever heard of this. They're regionally, like in our immediate area, there's a lot of people. They called them vinegaroons. I don't know why. I think they have them in the Middle East. They're called camel spiders. Have you ever heard of those?
No.
Anyways, a camel spider or these things, wind scorpion, I think is another name for them. We would get them. I don't know. They could get up to the size of like a bar of soap. But anyways, they look like a scorpion that instead of pinchers on its front, it just has extra long legs, and then it's got these huge chompers on its mouth, and then it doesn't have a stinger on the back. And supposedly it's a really, really painful bite. Well, these things were the most aggressive bug you've ever seen. Like if you walk up on one that's walking across the ground, it'll turn and look at you and charge you. Like they're just, I hated those things. And then when you squash them, like there's so much bug when you squash them, it's just like nasty. It's just like stepping on a water balloon. But yeah, we had those things in Southern California, and it was usually when it got real hot, that's when they'd start coming out. Like make sure your front door or your doors are sealed real good on the bottom, because they'll get in your house. And they're just like, they're super fast and they're just creepy looking. I mean, they're probably the ugliest bug I've ever seen, but I'm very thankful we don't have those out here. Instead, we have wolf spiders that are about the same size. Those are pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Yep.
They might as well be tarantulas.
Yeah.
It's taken all my might. Not, growing up, we had rattlesnakes, and I always taught, you see a rattlesnake, you kill it.
Yep.
And so now we just get really black snakes is what I see, and they're the good snakes, but it's taken me all my might not to
not kill them.
Yeah, because that's my first reaction is like, kill it. But then I'm like, wait, that's helping us with our rats.
It's a good snake.
Yeah.
So we have a snake that I finally identified. I've not known what it is for 5 years. If I'm cleaning up a spot that's got really, really tall, overgrown grass and stuff like that, start getting into it, and it's usually like after I've weed eated or something, I'm raking up all the stuff, I find these little snakes, and they look like an earthworm, like a really fat earthworm, but it's a little snake. And I haven't been able to identify them. They don't really have markings per se. They're just like gray, like just ugly little snakes. Well, I finally saw a video. I was just thumbing through YouTube, and there's a guy talking about this exact snake. Like, he's like, oh, yeah, this is called an eastern worm snake. And I guess it's a tiny little snake that finds wormholes in the ground, and it follows the wormholes and eats the worms in the hole.
Eats the worms.
That's wild. I never heard of that.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of one. They're just ugly little snakes. Like,
Maybe
they're just kind of, they look like a worm.
Maybe I thought it was a worm.
I just Googled it. That is kind of weird.
Yeah, I see my first snake skin in the barn this week. I'm always on high alert. Every time around this time, and it's all through summer, I'm just like looking, make sure I don't see a snake, but eventually you do.
I think I'm kind of the same mind as what you just said, like the programming. If you see a snake, you kill it. And so coming out here, I think I've only seen one, I don't know, it might have been a water snake. I didn't get a good idea of it. I've seen the what are they, water moccasins, I think. I always see those run over on the road right in front of our house. I've never seen one on our property, so I know we have them. They're just not very good at crossing the street. But the main snake we have is those black snakes.
Yes.
I think last year, for whatever reason, they love the barn. And I'll find, like last year, we probably found like 8 to 10 skins, because they'll go in the barn and they shed. We found a couple skins that are like every bit of 6 feet long. Like, wow. Huge skins. They get a little bit bigger when they shed them, but that was a big snake.
You get those snakes out?
No, the only snakes I've seen here is gardener snakes. And then I think we have one venomous snake. I can't remember what it is, but I've never seen it. We just have the moose, the deer, the coyotes. But
have you seen any moose lately?
Yeah, we saw one a week or two ago.
Okay.
So during the rut, you want to watch out for the males, and then you don't want to get between a mother moose and her baby when they're young. And I mean, we've had them like pretty much like right where our solar panels are from our house. So maybe like 20, 30 feet from the house, we've had the big old moose before.
Wow.
That'd be neat to see.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I would love to see one in person.
I don't know if I ever shared the story with you, but Gina's family Gina grew up in a rural town up in the mountains, and we'd always go back up there for holidays. And one night we were coming home from something. There was a dirt mountain road. We were coming down, and I'm like, like 10 o'clock at night, I'm like, someone's running towards us. I'm like, what is it? I'm driving my truck. I'm like, what is that thing? So I stop, I pull over the side of the road and I stop. It was a moose. Well, it ran right towards us. It didn't see us until it was like feet from the hood, and then it like just put its brakes on, stopped, turned, peed itself because we must have scared it, and then walked into the woods. Just like, what was that?
Wow.
They're like a big gigantic horse that's just dumb. That's the best way to explain them. Like, they're just dumb. I don't know why. They have like no common sense. But.
Wow, that's funny. That could be scary too.
It's funny.
And their eyes don't glow, so that's why a lot of people end up hitting them. So then, like a deer, your headlights hit their eyes and they glow in the dark, or like they shine like a cat almost. Cat's eyes. Moose won't.
Do they pause?
I didn't know that.
If they got if they have a light shining in them, do they like?
Not all the time.
Mm.
So they say, especially if you're in a little car and you have to hit one, if you can't avoid it, they like aim for the legs and like take out the legs so it goes over like the roof of your car, not like through the windshield or something.
Yeah, I would bet, man, that would destroy your car.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah, you had a couple 1,000 pounds of meat in a little car like that, man, you better hope you go underneath it. And if that thing comes through the windshield and hits you, that's it.
I know growing up, I used to always ride the white line in a rainstorm. So this is kind of one of my pet peeves is they used to paint the lines with reflective paint so you could see it at night. And when it was raining, well, you can't now. But when I was growing up, that's what they were. So I wouldn't like ride the white line, but I'd like stay near the white line if it was rainy out and you couldn't see. I know, like coming up here, my father was like, "Yeah, you don't want to do that up here because you have like the deer and the moose and everything hanging out on the side of the road." I'm like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Wow. Yeah.
Growing up, not far from the city, I was like, I didn't worry about that stuff growing up. I was like, but I'd rather ride the shoulder than ride the yellow line and have to worry about hitting somebody else.
Right. Yeah. You don't think about that stuff.
And I'll tell you what, I try not to drive at night living out here. There's something funny that has happened. People don't hunt anymore. And you get these areas that are kind of like we're at. We're not too far from town. But, just down the street from us is the I guess you'd call it like the outskirts of town. So there's neighborhoods and stuff like that. Like, we're not very far from city limits. Like, we're still county, but we're not as far out as we might like to be. And so we're kind of in this weird sweet spot where people aren't hunting their properties. It's kind of, I don't want to say cityfied, but people just don't hunt very much. A mile down the street, people hunt. But a mile down the street the other way, nobody hunts. And so it's usually, me and the boys go to karate twice a week. So that's like Tuesdays and Thursdays. Coming home at 9:00 is like sketchy. Every single night there will be deer in people's front yards. And I don't know what it is about deer and headlights. Like, they look at you and you can see like they're thinking about it. And as soon as you get up on them, they just take off across the street. And it's just like, man, what are you thinking, deer? And usually, like, it's not so bad right now, but usually heading in towards like the end of summer, every single day you'll see another deer run over on the road. And it's just like, it's treacherous. So yeah, if I have to drive at night, which I try not to, around here, better drive safe.
So what's up, Al? What'd you do this week? How are them hippie cows of yours?
The hippie cows are doing good. We brush their hair twice a day.
They let you, huh?
They
love it.
Yeah, one of them loves it more than the other. We want them both to love it and be friendly. Like, if we're not like, oh, we want to go brush our cows. We want to make sure that they're friendly and we can handle them well.
That makes one of them better tasting meat, I hear.
Right. I guess we're tenderizing it.
Yeah, there you go.
One of them, he'll come over to you and he'll put his chin up and he'll want you to like brush under his neck, and then he'll stop and he'll like put his neck over to you because he wants you to brush his neck.
That's funny.
Yeah. The other one's getting better. He's not quite like that yet, but he'll let me brush the bangs and his neck, and then while he's eating, and then when he's done eating, he'll let me brush him for a minute. But other than that, then he's just like, nah, and he walks off. But
His bangs.
yeah,
That's great, man.
it's fun so far. I don't know
How's
how
the-
long brush.
How's
What's
their
that?
temperament compared to the Jersey? Like, are they
Super
pretty chill
chill.
compared to a Jersey?
Yeah, that's why we got them, because they have a wicked chill attitude, and they're like when they move, they're just kind of like gracefully like woof, woof. They kind of look like a slow roaming bison. Like they're not. I mean, we saw the George, which is the bull, the orange one. We saw him running around bucking one afternoon, just having fun on a sunny day, which I get that. But most of the time they're just kind of like slowly stepping, and they just look like a big graceful animal.
Do they run to you?
Nope, they don't run. They just kind of slowly walk, like.
Wow.
So, and that's what we wanted. We want an animal that's just kind of chill, that you can go up, you're not afraid to handle. It'll be interesting to see when we breed them with the Jersey, what the temperament of the Jerseys have.
Oh, right. You're breeding him with the Jersey.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be this year, but next year we will. So we're getting an AI tech to come out in a couple of more weeks, and we're going to have Azalea AI'd with a Reverence Farm Jersey bull. And then that way we'll have hopefully 2 A2 females. Then in the future we can breed with our Highland bull and see how that goes.
Wow.
That'll be cool.
Yep. That'll be interesting to see the temperament of the Jersey and then how it is beef-wise compared to just a Jersey when it's crossed with the Highland. And then it'll be interesting to see if we get a female, if we keep her, like, will she be a good milker? Will she be a better forager kind of thing?
Yeah.
So it's year-long worth of experiments, I guess. It's nothing we'll have answers to right away.
Right.
But,
It's definitely a commitment, that's for sure.
right. It keeps it interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
It gives you, I guess, stuff to look forward to in the future.
So what else are you working on?
So I made barn doors out of 2x6s this winter. The man door was 36 inches wide. The doors that we had for getting into the stalls were 48 inches wide. Well, those ones bowed. Like they just went, they must have bowed an inch to an inch and a half in the center.
Wow.
So ever since like it started to warm up, I've noticed it. It's like almost like the sun's pulling them.
Those ones that you built
Yep.
earlier?
Yep.
Oh,
Not the sliding doors, but
Okay.
the doors for the animals to get to their stalls
Oh,
are
I
4
see.
feet wide. But I've been keeping an eye on them. And then was it last weekend? We were coming back down from where Gina's garden is, and I'm like, I just saw something run across the road. I'm like, I think that was Brutus. He's locked in the barn. Like we keep him in the barn with the gates open, but he can't get over the gates. I'm like, he either jumped the gates, which will be terrible because he'll keep doing it, or one of the doors opened up. And that's what it was. The doors bowed so much that it was past where the latch catches. So it
Oh, gosh.
just opened. So I leaned a 6x6 up against it. And I was like, all right, next rainy day, that's my project, is to build new doors.
Yeah.
What a hassle, though.
Yeah. I don't understand why. And there was 3 of them, every single one of them. It was just, I don't know if it's the 2x6 material, because a lot of the 2x6s and stuff you get nowadays, after they completely dry, they twist and warp, or
Yep.
Mm.
It's just really wet wood then.
yeah. So I ended up going back and I did 3/4 inch tongue and groove pine, and then I trimmed it with 3/4 inch pine, and then I glued it to 1/2 inch plywood. I was like, I hope I don't have to worry about it. If I do, if I see these ones starting to bow, I'm gonna get angle iron and brace it with angle iron. But we'll start this way.
Just keep
Yeah.
making it heavier until the problem is fixed.
Right. We built them in the past with 2 layers of 1-inch board, and we've never had an issue. But this time I was like, the 2x6s, it was cheaper to do them out of 2x6s than it was 1x pine. So I was like, well, we'll try the
Go
2x6s, and it cost me twice as much money now, I guess.
It always happens that way.
That's how it works. Try to save a couple bucks and have to do it over anyways.
Right. That's what it seems like.
So no more snow.
No, we haven't had any snow in probably 2 weeks now. We've been having a lot of rain. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, yeah.
We've been
It's
having a lot
been
of rain.
very, very wet down here.
Yeah.
I think yesterday we got an inch almost. And we've been having it on and off before that. Every time it starts to dry out, it'll get nice out and it'll start to dry out. And it's like a day or two of that. And then it's like, oh, here you go. Here's another inch of rain. It's like, no, we don't need that. I'm waiting for some sun and some heat to come out. And then we'll start seeing our grass really growing, I hope. But with all the rain we've been getting, I've been trying to plan putting down. We got some Redmonds Grow last fall from Redmonds. It's a mineral. It helps feed the soil, but I also got it with chicken manure in it. And I wanted to put it down last fall, but it was such a wet fall. I was like, oh, I hate to put it down and just have it get all washed out. So I'm hoping I got it down, and we had like 2 good days. So the grass was wet in the morning. I spread it, and then we had like 2 good days of sun. So I'm hoping that I was able to absorb into the ground before it got all washed out from the inch of rain. But
What is it? What does it look like?
it's Redmonds Grow.
How do you put it down? Like, what is it?
It's kind of like
fertilizer.
a fertilizer.
Oh, okay.
It's got like the sea minerals. It's got the regular trace minerals, and then it has organic chicken manure in it. You can get it for your garden. You can get small amounts and large amounts.
That sounds kind of like the stuff I get from Longevity. It's called Bloomin' Minerals, and it's the same thing. It's minerals and humic acid.
Yes,
Yeah, man, it'll sure make your plants grow.
The chickens love it. Our chickens are free ranging, and they've been going. I would spread it, and they would like be right behind, going through and pecking stuff out of it. So I'm like, whatever it is, it's got to be good, because I know it also had like some kind of calcium and magnesium in it also. So I'm like, the chickens like something to do with it.
What's that stuff called again? I'm gonna look it up.
Redmonds Grow.
Grow. Okay.
Grow.
It's Redmonds Sea Salt, right? Or
Yeah. It's so if you go to if you go to Redmonds Agriculture, because Redmonds has like 3 or 4 different websites. So there's Redmonds Agriculture, which sells like the salt licks and stuff like that for the animals. That's where they have Redmonds Grow. They have it. There's 3 different ways you can get it. It's the first one's Foundation, which is just like I think the trace minerals, and then there's Build, which has the trace minerals and the more like sea salt. It's got salt in it, and then it's got more of the humate stuff. And then the Grow has the Foundation, Build, and then the chicken manure in it. So depending on like what level, like I guess the Foundation is good for adding to compost. If you're making your own compost and you want to add more to it, you can get the Foundation for that. That'll be interesting to see what that ends up doing to the pasture.
yeah.
I don't know how long it'll take, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I'll be curious. I'm always on the lookout for new ways to fertilize without using like industrial fertilizers. We want to do everything as organically as we can, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with some good old humic acid if you can get it.
Yep, for sure. Then I was on Facebook Marketplace again, guys.
Uh-oh.
Terrible.
Uh-oh.
This is a good one. I bought 2 pig huts.
Pig huts.
Pig hut. This is like the 3rd time I've seen them, and like every time
the metal ones.
The metal ones, they go fast. So this guy had just posted them, and I reached out to him, and like he replied back like the next morning. He's like, "Oh, I got somebody who already wants them," or something like that. And I'm like, "Well, I can come today and come get them." He's like, "Well, I'll keep you posted." And then he texted me back like an hour later. He's like, "Yep, the other guy fell through." I'm like, "All right." It was like an hour and a half ride one way. I'm like, "I'll be there." It was a rainy Sunday, so I'm like, "Let's go for a ride." But
That's good. Those things look nice. Are they light enough to move around by hand?
They're pretty light. Because me and him picked them up and put them in my trailer, and then we stacked. There was 2 of them, and we stacked them on top of each other.
Okay.
So he wanted 4. He was asking $225 a piece, and then if you bought both of them, he was like $425. I'm like, I didn't even try messing with him, because I'm like, that's a good price. I can't.
Yeah, because aren't they like $700 or something?
He was thinking 5, and he
400?
said
Okay.
he bought them a while ago. He was thinking 500, and he's like, I had to travel 5 hours one way to buy them new, wherever the dealer was.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to have a goat dairy farm, and they used to make goat gelato. I didn't ask like any like main reasoning he got out of it, but they sold everything. I guess they had sold everything a while ago, and they had spent the winter in the Carolinas. Like, they're moving down to North Carolina. They had enough of farming, I guess. And I guess there's some place, I think it begins with an M in North Carolina that's known really good for diving or scuba diving.
I don't know.
So
He's gonna go live the good life in North Carolina then.
I guess so. You saying I don't live the good life? Is that what you're saying?
You got to remember, me and Jason both have this California blood. It's just too
Right.
cold up there. I think we'd die.
Nah, you kind of get used to it. If it was a little bit shorter, it'd be
Kinda.
better. But
I don't know. I'd have to buy all new clothes.
Well, heck, that's about how it was moving here. Is realizing, wow, it gets a lot colder than Southern California. None of my jackets are even remotely warm enough.
No,
So how cold would it get in the wintertime where you guys used to live?
I don't know.
Where we were at, if it got down to 37, people panicked.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It rarely. You might have a frost. You might come out and your windshield might be a little icy, and you might have to scrape the ice off. 2 or 3 mornings out of the year. But generally, I mean, I can think of one time there was like a hard frost and it like busted people's water lines and stuff like that. But I mean, it's few and far between.
I mean, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you're probably it still was maybe in the 80s.
Yep.
Maybe
Yeah,
90s.
I remember
Wow.
swimming in my mom's pool
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving with all my brothers and stuff. So yeah, it's a little bit warmer out there.
But
That
people
wouldn't
walk around with a scarf though in the holidays because you really want it to be cold, but it's just not.
I was gonna say it wouldn't feel like Christmas to me growing up in New England. I'd be like, "What's going on? This isn't winter time."
Yeah.
So I guess that was my week in a nutshell. What have you guys been up to?
What about you, Ben?
I've had a lot on my mind lately. I've been very
bet.
preoccupied. I've been getting a lot of messages because we haven't done a work video on the building the house. The work has stopped for right now. The closer and closer we've gotten to the baby showing up, I'm just like, I don't have the mental space to work on it. I'm really, I don't know. It's not that I'm concerned about Meg and the baby, but like, this is what I'm focused on. So I've been taking the easy stuff. Like I'm working on garden. I'm pulling weeds and planting stuff and all that good stuff. And honestly, I've just left that build project just sit. I plan on picking it up as soon as, after the baby's done. But it's like, man, like I need the building inspector out here for an inspection, and all I can think is like, yeah, and that would be the day that Meg goes into labor. It's like,
Yep.
I'm not going to deal with it. So I'm just like, we'll have the baby, and then I'll call and get my inspections, and then I can continue on and all that stuff. So I figured I would address that briefly. Other than that, on that note, it is nearly baby time, so we are waiting patiently. I'm waiting patiently. Meg is not so patient. She's very tired of being large and pregnant. She says she's like tired of waddling and not being able to bend over and pick things up, which I understand. So we're just waiting. We're in the home stretch now, so it's just a matter of whenever this baby wants to show up.
Yeah, I had a text Ben earlier. I was like, "You want to do this podcast today?" Because I don't know, but we're doing it.
We actually thought it was going to be yesterday, but it wasn't. So still waiting. So that's been the main thing that I've been occupied with, is just getting everything ready, just waiting.
Yeah.
We got our garden planted out. We planted out pretty much the rest of the things we needed to get in. We got peppers in, we got tomatoes in. It's been a fun couple days. We actually planted all of our peppers. What was that? Last night? Yesterday? Maybe it was Saturday. It was Saturday. So all of the bell peppers are in. I still have some hot peppers I need to find places for. Green beans are in. Like it's happening. It's to the point now, like I got everything weeded, we got everything amended and planted, and I was able to get all of the beds like mulched. So hopefully that'll help with weeds. And, you know, we've gotten so much rain here lately. I think I can see the rain gauge right now, and it's got 3 inches of rain in it over the past, this is like since Friday or something like that. So we're getting some rain. And I don't know. I feel like everything's kind of slowed down. I feel like we're just, bracing for having a new baby. Because, even though this is number 6 for us, it's still, there's a lot that you forget in just a few years. I know when we had, Buggy, Liliana, when we had her, it was like having a first kid because the youngest was 9, I think, 8. And I mean, there was so much stuff. In 8 years, you forget.
Been a while.
And so, even now, it's like, well, it's been almost 4 years, and there's stuff that I know I've forgotten. So, yeah. I guess that's just the way it is. So, yeah, other than that, I wasn't very prepared today. Usually I sit and read a list of everything I worked on during the week, but it's been slow and busy at the same time.
How are those pigs?
Just a lot. Those pigs are the craziest pigs I think we've ever had. They, I'll walk up to the fence, they'll come up to the fence, and then they'll be staring at me. I won't even move, I won't breathe, I won't do anything, and one of them will bark, and they take off running like they're terrified. And they just run around the pen in circles, and then they'll come back up to the fence, look at me, and just repeat it. And I don't know if they're playing, but it looks like they're running scared. You know how if you sneak up on a pig, sometimes they bark and then take off running? That's what these ones do. They're crazy, but they're growing. They're getting bigger. I think they're now bigger than the guinea hogs that are.
Wow.
Guinea hogs are almost a year old. I think next month, actually, they'll be a year old. And these pigs are like, 2 months old, something like that. And they're already bigger. So very happy with how fast they're growing.
That's good. My coonies bark. They don't run around though, but every time I come up to them, I'm about to feed them. Not all of them do it, but maybe like 1 or 2 of them will do it. Like they'll walk along the fence line following me, and they'll be like, "Huh, huh, huh, huh." It's so funny when they do that. I feel like they're doing that like to see if, I don't know why. I don't know. I just feel like it's so funny. Like they're trying to, I don't know, get my attention or something.
It's funny when they do that. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've talked about how much I like pigs. Pigs are funny. They're like a weird dog in a way.
Yeah.
They have so much personality. So that was pretty much my my week.
So just baby watch.
Just baby watch. That's where we're at. Counting down.
Good, man. Yeah, so we typically record on Mondays. So this will come out on Friday. So who knows? Maybe by then.
Maybe by then. I was actually like this weekend, we thought it was going to be, Sunday, and it was like, oh man, like I get to say it on the podcast first, but it's not going to come out till Friday, so it's going to be last. And how's this going to work out? But yeah, no news. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So beginning of the week for me, there was, people, we're in the country, so people burn piles of stuff, right? All the time. And you always see like smoke and you're like, oh, someone's burning. So then across the way from us, our neighbor there was smoke. It was like the middle of the week. Like it was like in the afternoon. And I never noticed anyone burning anything before. And we thought, well, does that look right? I don't know. We're looking out the window. We're like, because it was kind of a ways we couldn't really see, but we just saw white smoke. And so I was like, maybe someone's just burning. And so, I don't know, 20 minutes went by. I went outside doing something and I noticed more smoke. And then I go look again. I saw a flame on one of the trees. And I was like, that's not right. That's not right. So then I kind of was on my way over there, walking. It was like across the street almost, like kind of catty corner to us. And then the neighbor across next door to them went out, and she's like, "Jason, something's going on." So there's like she's in her 90s that lives there, lady, and she threw something in a burn barrel, and I guess it went out of control, and then there was like trash next to that burn barrel, and that started going up in flames, and
Jeez.
so it was a fire. It wasn't somebody burning. So we had to kind of put it out, and they ended up calling the fire department, and they came out in like 10 minutes. They were there, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It wasn't like out of control or nothing, but it was still burning. It was spreading a little bit, but kind of excitement for the midweek.
Right.
There was like 2 fire trucks there and like another fire guy. Like, I mean, it was like, oh, they must not have had anything to do that day, but it was the talk of the town. So that was kind of exciting, but scary at the same time. And every time that happens, man, it's like, man, it's scary. Like being like having some kind of land and having a fire break out like that. Like, man, that's scary as heck.
Yeah.
But everything was fine.
You need to build a mini fire truck now.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be a good little YouTube series.
They do. That one guy I bought my mini truck from. They have mini truck fire trucks.
There you go.
They're red and they look like a fire truck.
I think you need it.
Volunteer fire department. So what else? What else did we do? So I ended up buying some gates this week. 2 16-footers and a 14-footer because I didn't have those gates. So I ended up buying those and installed them. So now my 7 acres is finally all fenced in.
Yay.
And now
Bet that
I
feels
know.
good.
It feels really good and it feels weird because, I mean, it feels good. But like getting used to opening and closing gates
Right.
is kind of weird. I'm going to have to get used to that.
Yep.
Like the other day, it was pouring down rain and it was in the evening, and so I'm trying not to drive all throughout the pasture, when I'm in the mini truck. Before I didn't really have a fence or a gate to go through, so I would I didn't go crazy, but, I would just kind of just turn wherever I wanted to go because nothing was stopping me. So now I'm trying to be more mindful of like where I put the gates and going in and out of those gates whenever I'm driving. So I'm trying to like drive in the woods, like kind of go around the property whenever I want to go to the top, rather than driving right in the middle. Because that's what I used to do before, just drive right in the middle of the pasture and just go straight up. So the other day I was pouring down rain and I was like, I'm in my mini truck and I'm like trying to go to each gate and opening and closing them. It just reminded me of the Jurassic Park. The scene where the guy is like has a frozen embryo and he's got to get to the dock and because he's like selling it to some guy in the black market, and he's like, is it this gate? Is it this gate? And his glasses are fogging up, and he's like, I don't know which gate. It's kind of funny. But getting used to that, man. Yeah, in the rain. Yeah.
Yep.
Getting used to that is going to be something. But it does feel pretty good that there's a little bit more peace of mind, because also I was thinking it's funny when you're at least for me, like, when you first start out doing something like homesteading or, having animals and stuff, you kind of don't think, because you've never done it before. So for me anyways, I kind of never thought of bad things that could happen, right? Like a predator come in, you just kind of get the animals and you're just like, oh, I'm just going to get the animals and raise them up, but you don't think like certain things can happen. And it's like getting a couple steers, we weren't even fenced in, but I'm like, I was just getting a couple steers and they'll stay behind this single wire fence, single wire rope. But now, yeah, they could get past that. They could like go on the street. Like, what was I thinking? That didn't happen. But so, we're having a workshop this week, 2 chicken workshops.
Is that the coming weekend?
By the time, yeah, this coming up weekend.
Wow.
And
Came fast.
so I think much. I never really thought about this before, but like, we got 60 meat chickens. Nothing can happen to these meat chickens between now and then, right? Because people are coming to do this workshop to butcher these chickens. And my thought is like, the people that are coming, I mean, some of them are driving 2-4 hours away, but other people are actually getting a plane ticket and coming here. So nothing can happen to these chickens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of nerve-wracking, which I've never really, I guess, kind of thought about that. I guess maybe before people were driving only maybe a couple hours away, if you have to refund monies, it's not such a big ordeal. But like if someone's buying a plane ticket and this is their vacation,
it's kind of a big deal.
I would feel bad if, like, sorry, our chickens are dead, like we're not having it, so so having the fence is just another added protection, which is a more peace of mind, which is nice.
And you can't put a price on peace of mind.
Yes, I know. I'm like, well, what can I do? Because they got, they're in the coop. They've got the fencing now. I mean, I could put another fence around them, like triple the protection, but you know what I mean? So I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I was like, it's like kind of a different ball game now, If they just die, it's just we're out of luck. But now, they're part of this workshop that we're trying to do, and so we need to protect them at all costs. But yeah, they're doing good. We haven't lost them yet, but they're all seem to be healthy. I also was thinking, Cornish Crosses get a bad rap, and I really think it's because they're white. They look dirty.
They look dirty.
Why can't they breed them a different color?
That's a really good point.
They would make them more appealing. I really think it's because they look dirty.
Well, I don't know about you, but usually it's not the fact that they're white, it's that they don't have feathers. Like they're all splotchy, and that's what makes ours look gross anytime we've done them. Yeah,
that too. But like if you look, if it's raining and they're out there just laying down, like their bellies are all brown. Like what if they're red color or black? Then you couldn't see the dirt. I don't know.
That's a really good point.
That's another business we got to get into.
I don't know about breeding chickens.
No, I know.
Like if you dig around on the internet, you can find kind of how the recipe for breeding the meat birds works.
I've never seen that, but have you guys seen the Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs with the turkeys? I know he had an episode on breeding turkeys. He went to a turkey farm, and that was a pretty good episode. That was years ago. But yeah, he had to do the because the broad-breasted white turkeys, they get so big they can't breed either.
Oh gosh.
So I don't know. Is that how they do it with the? I guess I'll have to check to see how they do it with the broilers.
Yeah, why are they white?
I don't know. It's whatever breed they started with. They probably started with like a white. I think we looked it up. We found what the Cornish Cross started as, and it's like a generic breed, and they added in this, and then they added in that, and then to get down to the ones that we grow out to eat, it's you're looking at 3 generations that they start with before they breed down and get the final ones that they hatch out for meat birds. Man, that's a lot.
Yeah, man. But I don't know. They're doing pretty good. The ones I have, we lost a few, but that's expected. And that's it. My coonies are going good. They're growing. They're over a month old now. So I'm debating of keeping them or selling them. I don't know.
How many do you have? 5,
6.
6. And you were going to keep 4? anyways? Is that what your normal
I was
goal
gonna
is?
keep 4, maybe sell 2, but I don't know if I'm gonna sell I wanted to sell the intact male, see if anyone would buy them, but I had a couple people that were interested, and then they weren't. So just because I don't feel like castrating them, but I don't know. I might end up just
The
castrating
struggle is
them.
real.
Yeah, and then I still have that hernia pig. I
How's
talked
he
to a
doing?
few. I don't know if I mentioned it in the podcast, but I talked to a few people about it, and they said that you could just get your fingers, 2 fingers, and stick it back in, but you got to do it like almost when they're born, like right away, because it could heal. Because what it is their guts or their intestines are out of where it needs to be. There's like a hole,
Yep.
and so you got to use your fingers to stick them back in, and then some people said take tape, like electrical tape, and you wrap it, like kind of make a diaper on the pig, so that way it holds it in there until it heals, and then you take the tape off. And I looked it up too. There's some things online that say to do this, and they mainly do it to conventional raised pigs. But it's pretty interesting. But being that mine are already over a month old, I think it's maybe too late. Like it's already healed, and I mean the pig seems fine though, which is weird. But again, like I think what's happening is that they all said that pig does have a hernia. These people that are more familiar about it, they said, yeah, it's a hernia. And they said that it's gonna heal, and then eventually it'll heal around the intestines, and then the pig can't poop or eat right, and then eventually it'll just die. So that's why people
That's
just
too bad.
butcher them. Yeah, and the pig seems so fine right now. Like, so I'm just like, what do I do? So I guess eventually I'm just going to end up putting it out. Maybe try smoking it. I don't know. I mean, it seems
Yeah.
such a...
Don't let it go to waste.
What are they called?
Yeah.
Suckling pigs that you can buy like that?
Yeah.
That are young.
Yeah, and that's what people usually do with the hernia pig. Like they just put it out. It's just super tiny still.
Yep.
So I'm just going to wait. I don't know when, but maybe a couple months and see what happens and end up putting them out. So
Is he gaining weight?
That's the hard side.
yes, that's the hard side. That's the side that's not fun. It does. It only makes you not want to breed any animal. Not want to deal with it.
Yep.
Even though it's, the first time ever happening to me something like this, it already makes me like, oh, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. But yeah, you just kind of have to go through it. But yeah, it's
What's that saying? If you've got livestock, you've got dead stock. And it sucks that you have to deal with this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, but it does seem like it's gaining weight. I mean, I don't know. It's growing. It doesn't seem sickly at all.
Sounds like you got some good advice for if it happens again to try.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's not something I thought to look for, if it, during when a piglet's born, like,
Yep.
I mean, now I'm going to look for it.
Yeah.
But before it, like last year, I never even crossed my mind that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll look for it now when we start breeding our pigs here. And I'll be like, Jason, what did they say if you have a hernia?
Yeah, just
Get out the
pop it
electrical
back in.
tape.
Right? Get out the duct tape.
Yeah, just pop it back in. I'm
Tape them up.
like, really?
You know what they
That
do
easy.
make? I wonder if they would work. I ordered a pair. I haven't used them, but they make like a thing. So like if you get like a big wound, you put like a stick tape on it, and then you put a zip tie, and you zip tie it, and it closes your wound. So I wonder if you
I've
could do
seen
something like
those.
that. Like if you pushed it back in, and then it's like a steri strip, but with a zip tie. I wonder if something like that would work on a pig when they have a
I
hernia.
don't know. Maybe.
It's like a zip tie suture.
Yeah. Yep.
I would bet mostly people don't even deal with it, and they just put the pig out.
Yep.
But if it's easy enough just to stick your fingers up there and just pop it back in, then maybe it is that easy. I don't know.
Never know. The old timers have the wisdom, it seems like.
Yeah. Or those people that have been doing it conventionally, they probably know some stuff.
Yeah.
They probably seen it all, I would bet. that might be helpful.
Yeah, because they probably raised tons if they have it like the hog barns. They're probably raising quite a bit of a volume.
Yeah.
But
What's that? Every pig is money, so you better if you can get it up to market weight.
Yeah.
So you better figure out a way to deal with that hernia.
But that's about it. We're just being ready for that. Getting ready for our new animals. We're supposed to get those tomorrow.
you gonna make us wait another week?
Yes.
Sheesh.
I'll talk about them on the next podcast.
On the next podcast. Now you got the fence, you got gates, you're good.
I got the fence. I got the gates.
It's energized.
I just picked up a new Energizer. I haven't installed it yet, so I'm gonna install that. But
what kind you get?
Hotter Energizer. 18 joule Speedrite.
Nice.
With a remote.
That's what I want.
What's the remote for? Like turn it on and off, or?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They have them now where you have to touch the fence though with it. So you could be anywhere on the property and just touch the fence and hit off and it turns off. It's pretty great.
They have Bluetooth ones, Speedrite, I believe, that you can use. You can turn it on and off with your phone.
Yes.
I was like, whew.
Yes, they do have those too.
I saw that one. I didn't know about the other style remote.
Yeah, the Bluetooth one seems pretty cool too. It's a giant remote though. That's the only thing. Yeah, it's like you need a backpack practically to carry it. Well, it's not that big, but it's kind of big. It's like bigger than your phone.
It's like an old Nokia phone from the 90s.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like this giant thing. Huh. But it's still pretty cool that you could do that.
Sure it is.
So we'll see. But yeah, that's about it, I think. And the grass is growing here. The humid is insane right now.
Yeah, it's pretty stinking miserable during the day when the sun's out. Like, especially the rain we've had the past couple days. The sun came out today, and it was like, oh, dear sweet goodness, this is miserable.
Yep.
I noticed my coonies are just starting to get some hams back there. I'm like, man, you get some hams. I was yesterday. I was like, I never noticed.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Finally getting some meat back there.
That's funny. The more you do this, the more you process your own meat and stuff like that, you start looking at your animals different. Like you start, it's like, man, you look like you got a lot of meat on those ribs. And man, that shoulder's nice and thick. I bet you there's some good marbling in there.
I know. Man, look at them chicken wings. Damn. I know. Look at them hams. Like, it's so funny.
When's the first class? Are you doing it Saturday or Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
So when this podcast come out, I'll be
in it.
Elbow deep.
You'll be in it. Elbow deep.
Elbow deep in chicken stuff.
Yep.
Should be nice. We got 10 people each day.
Nice.
It's always a good time.
We're trying to work a deal on some new animals, but I don't know if that's going to happen yet.
Oh, really?
Yep. We're always looking.
And I'm still waiting on our newest addition, so
right.
Farm's growing.
Maybe we'll end it there. The farm is growing.
Good.
Farm is growing. It's a good note to end it on.
Yeah. All right. So thanks everyone for listening and watching these podcasts, and thank you for the comments that you give us on our YouTube channel and the reviews that you give us on iTunes and all the podcast platforms. We really appreciate it, and happy to just a few guys having a conversation on the phone, really. It give us an excuse to hang out and talk, and hopefully everyone else, other people listening, can maybe there's something there that you guys can learn. And we're all learning here, and we appreciate you guys listening and watching, and hopefully you guys have an awesome week, and hopefully we got some good baby news next Friday.
Right.
So, thanks everyone. See you next week.
See you guys next week.
Later, everybody.